The Secret Diary of Cameron Baum. Chapter 2. Monday. I hand in my English assignment, the fake diary written by John. My secret diary remains concealed in my room. Sherry Weston hands her assignment in as well. It is a thick pink folder. Perhaps she has had an interesting week where many fascinating things happened to her. Or merely big handwriting. Recess. While I am walking along a corridor, two senior boys beckon me into an empty classroom. They are named Yonk and Big Bubba. They represent the school at football. People call them jocks, though not Morris, who instead calls them meatheads. Technically, this definition is true for all humans. Yonk and Big Bubba aren't their real names, but nicknames bestowed on them by the other students. Yonk is called Yonk because he comes from Yonkers, a borough of New York City. Big Bubba is so called because he is large and from the South, though it could equally be because he is covered in rolls of fat and has a bland, puffy face like a newborn baby. I also have a nickname bestowed on me by the other students. My nickname is Weirdo. When I enter the classroom, Yonk says, "Hey, Baum, we heard about your little stunt in the girls' toilets, pulling the rag machine off the wall. Me and Bubba tried that last year, but it wouldn't budge. How'd you manage it?" I explain it was accidental. Yonk says, "Yeah, right. We heard you're real strong. We want to know how strong." Yonk sits at a table and places his right arm upright in the center. He pushes a chair out with his foot and indicates I should sit opposite. I do so. I mimic his posture. Yonk says to Bubba, "All clear." Bubba peers round the door and says, "Yup. No sign of any teachers. Make it quick, man." Yonk laughs and says, "No problemo, dude." He grasps my hand with his and attempts to push it over. I resist. Yonk increases his efforts, his knuckles whitening against my own. Curious. It appears to be a game or physical exercise of some sort. Judging by the muscle biomechanics involved, the object is to push the opponent's arm over using the elbow joint as a fulcrum. Satisfied this is indeed the case, I press Yonk's arm over until his knuckles make a sharp rap on the wooden surface. Yonk says, "Son of a bitch." Bubba says, "Shit, she beat you, man. She can't weigh more'n 110. You're 250 and cranked up on juice, and she whupped you." Yonk says, "Shut up, Bubba, and ixnay about the juice, okay? She didn't whoop me. I cramped up for a second. Let's go again." I ask, "Is it best of 3? Yonk says, "Yeah, sure, whatever." He grabs my hand and again attempts to muscle me into submission. His face proceeds to go a deep shade of purple, with blue highlights where his lips are compressed into a thin line. Beads of sweat ooze from amidst the bristles on his shaven head, forming pear-shaped droplets that sealies and run down his face and broad neck as rivulets to be absorbed into his tight-fitting shirt. It is even more impressive in infrared. His head appears as a big white orb, like the full moon on a dark night. I can hear the ventricles of his heart rapidly opening and closing as they struggle to pump blood into the muscles. Bubba says, "Look at her face, man, she's not even straining." I slam his arm over. Yonk says, "Got him it, son of a bitch. No way, no freaking way." Bubba says, "You're pussy-whopped, man." Yonk replies, "Shut your mouth, Bubba, just shut your fool mouth. Again, we go again." I point out I have 1, 2 of 3. Yonk yells, "The hell with that, again. You're tricking me somehow, I know it." We go again, or again as he prefers. Bubba turns his back on the door to watch us and fails to see John appear. John says, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" This is something I would like to know myself. Bubba turns and says, "Stay out of it, kid. This ain't your concern." John shoves him aside and says, "Cam, get your hands off her." Yonk releases his grip and jumps up to face John. I cannot permit this. I throw the table aside. It smashes against the far wall. Yonk turns to see what the noise is, and I grab him by the throat and lift him off the floor. His fists beat ineffectually against my arm. His feet dangle and jerk spasmodically as he struggles for breath. "You will not harm John." Bubba says, "Holy Christ on the crapper." John says, "Cam, put him down, it's okay. He was going to attack you." "No one's attacking anyone. It's cool. Put him down, Cam, please." I release Yonk. He falls, staggers slightly, then regains his balance. He rubs his neck and stares at me with fear in his eyes. Bubba has gone, fled the room. It is just us three. John says, "You okay, man? Take a second." Yonk says, "What the hell is she?" "She's my sister, and nothing happened here. Just a little misunderstanding among friends." Yonk says, "You ain't my friend, Baum, and she tried to kill me. I can get her expelled." John sighs. "I don't think so, man. Not unless you want to explain those needle tracks on your arms to the principal." "You're bluffing." "Maybe. Wanna bet your college football scholarship on it. Because a juice head like you sure's not gonna make it on grade average." Yonk glares at John, then turns and walks out. Whatever it was, it is over. Home. John is disappointed with me. I know this because, on the journey home, he didn't once speak to me or look in my direction. When John is angry with me, he will look me straight in the eyes and calmly explain why, usually with Derek Reese yelling in the background demanding my dismemberment. When John is pleased with me, he will smile and slap me playfully on the shoulder or back. He is very tactile when he is pleased with me, but not when he is disappointed. I go to my room, put on my leotard and practice ballet until it is time for night patrol. It is late and the porch light switched off, so I am surprised to see John seated on the step in the dark. He says, "Cam, we need to talk." I say, "You are disappointed with me." "Well, yeah, I guess I am a little. I want to know what you were doing in that room with those gorillas." "Gorillas?" "Yonk and Bubba. Suppose a teacher had caught you arm wrestling a 250 lb footballer." I say, "Arm wrestling? Is that what we were doing?" "You didn't know?" "No, Yonk didn't explain." "But you just went ahead and did it. See, Cam, that's half the trouble. You don't think it through. You screw up and it affects us all." I agree to be more circumspect in future. I ask, "Yonk and Bubba, will they cause problems?" John shakes his head. "Not after what you did to him. He won't want that public knowledge." I announce, "He was pussy-whopped." "I guess so. Where'd you hear that expression?" "It was one of Bubba's. Also, I mimic Bubba's voice. Holy Christ on the crapper." I add, "What does this mean?" John smiles. "It means he's a cracker idiot frying his few remaining brain cells with steroids." "Steroids are bad." "Uh-huh. Unless you don't mind an enlarged heart and atrophied testicles." We talk some more, then John gets up and says, "Okay, time for bed. See you in the morning, Cam." He pats me on the shoulder. John is pleased with me again. Tuesday. A group of girls are huddled together in the toilets. The usual suspects. They fall silent when I enter. The blob machine has a sign on it stating it is out of order. I cross to the sinks and run some water. One of the girls detaches from the group and walks over to me. I hope she doesn't ask me for a spare blob because I have none to offer her. Instead, she says, "Cameron, could you help me get the top off this nail varnish bottle? It's stuck." She hands me a small glass bottle containing a red viscous liquid. This is what girls use to coat the nails on their fingers and toes, the hard chitlin remnant of their primitive ancestors' talons. The bottle has a simple twist and lift top. I detach the two and hand them back. The girl seems surprised but says, "Gee, thanks." She returns to the group, which forms a protective circle around her, excluding me. I boost my audio receptors and record the following whispered conversation. "She opened it no trouble at all. Amazing. Did you use enough superglue?" "The whole tube. You were there, you saw me." "Did you give it time to set?" "Ah, hello. My fingers are stuck together, aren't they?" "You idiot, Louise. How did you manage that?" "I don't know. The tube leaked or something." "Let me see." "Don't pull. It hurts when you pull." So we proved she's like super strong. Do you think she's on steroids? Don't they give you big muscles? She's not that huge. I heard she has a steel plate inside her head. You know, like Superman. Superman doesn't have a steel plate inside his head, Louise. But he's the man of steel, right? Yeah, but it doesn't mean he has a steel plate in his head. Dumbass. And how does having a plate in her head make her freaky strong? It's radioactive. Someone sniffed why too much glue. So it was a ruse, a test of my strength, more subtle than Yonk and Bubba, but a test nonetheless. Did I pass or fail? Insufficient data. I pull a paper towel out of the dispenser and dry my hands. I turn to leave. As I do so, one of the girls whispers softly after me. Bye, weirdo. I turn and say, goodbye, Louise. One of the girls utters a faint shriek. Home. Bad news concerning Snookums the dog. The couple in whose care I left the corpse, the Krokowskis, have made a poor job of disposing of the remains. They wrapped it in a sheet and left it out with the trash. A basic error. The carcass began to decay and smell and attract flies. In turn, this triggered the interest of their neighbors, who called the pest control officer, who found the dead dog and called the local police. They discovered the bullets I fired into its skull and promptly arrested the Krokowskis and took them into custody for questioning. This sequence of events is called a domino effect. Or if you are Derek Reese, a shit storm. John and I venture out to check on what is happening in the adjoining street. The evening is bright but cool. John wears his leather jacket. I have on a black T-shirt emblazoned with the slogan, METLLICA. Some kind of monster. Both Sarah Connor and Derek Reese hate this shirt, but as John once told me, there is no accounting for taste. At the Krokowskis' house, yellow and black police tape is stretched across the driveway. The Buick is gone. Up at the porch, a lone policeman stands guard. He appears bored. His heart rate is sluggish. He doesn't look in our direction as we pass on the opposite sidewalk. John says, "You threw the dog this far. That's some arm. Don't run off and join the Yankees." I reply, "No, I won't run off and join the Yankees." John says, "Let's go back. It looks pretty quiet here." I ask, why police? Humans kill animals all the time, for meat, for sport. It is the natural order. Not quite. Snookums was someone's pet. Pet. An animal friend, if you like. A companion. Sometimes they're all you have. I ask, did you have any animal friends? Just one, a dog, Max. What happened to Max? John stops and stares at me. A Terminator killed him. Wednesday. Her name is Becca Shaughnessy. She is the girl from my ballet class who suggested I try out for the cheerleader squad. She is now putting books away in her locker. She sees me, smiles, and says, "Hey, I can't believe they picked me and not you for the squad. You're a way better dancer." I say, "At least your mother will stop writing you." "Dream on, not when she hits the hooch." I say, "She hits the hooch." That's high. Does the hooch hit her back? She frowns. Huh, oh, you mean does she suffer bad hangovers and stuff? Totally. Sometimes we don't pull the drapes back to gone noon. Mom and me are like the anti-Gilmore Girls, but no biggie. Becca closes her locker. I've got Trig now, but hey, maybe we could hang out at the mall sometime. Hang out? Yeah, go to Starbucks, shoot the breeze. You know, girl stuff. I confirm I like to shoot things. Becca laughs. You're funny, and I definitely need more laughter in my life. We should totally hang. I watch as she walks down the corridor and turns the corner. Is it possible I have made a friend? Afternoon. The English assignment grades for our diaries are announced. Mine receives a D, a failing grade. It is my turn to feel disappointed with John. I turn in my seat to see if he feels appropriately contrite. Instead, John is chatting and smiling with Cherie Weston, who has received an A. I suffer a sudden software glitch that causes my arm hydraulics to spasm and slam the top of my desk hard, startling everyone in the room. Mr. Mellencamp, the teacher, asks, "Is anything wrong, Miss Baum?" I reply, "No, sir, nothing." Then kindly, do nothing a little more quietly. I run a diagnostic program to check for system malfunctions. It is negative. No indication of what caused the glitch. I will run a full scan later. For now, I face forward and launch a noise suppression program specifically tailored to eliminate Sherry Weston's irritating, whiny voice from my head. Thursday. Today is Morris' 16th birthday. John tells him, "You dog, you should have told me. I'd have got you something." Morris says, "I don't like to broadcast it. In case you didn't notice, I'm not the most popular kid in school." End of class will hit Burger King. My shake, okay. Morris nods. "Thanks, man. Will a Cameron be coming?" "Sure, she's up for it, aren't you, Cam?" I reply, "Sure, I'm up for it." Morris grins like a small puppy. Snookums, perhaps, before I blew its dog brains out. The mall. Malls are large, spacious, airy, multi-level buildings where humans go to work, shop, eat, drink, and entertain themselves. If I were in predator mode, this would be a fertile hunting ground indeed. The doors swoosh open as I near them, a primitive motion sensor detecting my approach. I stare out across the vast atrium at the hordes of humanity going about their lives. My facial recognition program pings, alerting me to the presence of someone familiar. There, two female figures in the medium distance. I recognize them as two of the senior girls who were judging the cheerleader tryouts. They are both blonde-haired. The taller one glances round and spots me looking at her. Her eyes grow wide with surprise. She whispers urgently to her companion. I tune out the ambient background noise and listen in. "Oh my God, it's the Baum girl, don't look round." "Where? I don't see her." "What part of don't look round? Didn't you understand, Louise?" "I see her. You don't think she's after us because we bumped her off the squad, do you?" "You bumped her off the squad, you mean?" "Well, she's weird." And Becca Shaughnessy's an improvement. Suppose Becca's crazy dipso mom shows up drunk at the next game and belches the national anthem. Why would she do that? Because that's what crazy drunk people do. They belch the national anthem. My Uncle Henry does it all the time. That'll look good on my college resume, huh? Comes from a family of anthem belchers. Let's wait in KFC until she goes away. Kentucky Fried, I don't think so. Oh, so now you're head of the cheerleaders, you're too good for the colonel. You're a slob. The word is snob, Louise. God, you're stupid sometimes. John and Morris show up, and I disengage so the three of us can go and find the Burger King together. I have never met royalty before. Suddenly, from nowhere, a small female child cannons into my legs and hugs them, tight impeding my mobility. She is leaking fluid from her eyes. I know this one, crying. Humans cry because they are upset or in pain. This is called a no-brainer. John bends down and says softly, "Hey, little lady, why all the tears?" The child says between sobs, "I can't find my mom. You've lost mommy. It's okay, hun, we'll help you find her. I'm John. This is Morris. And the lady whose legs you're hugging is called Cameron." "Cameroon," she says, gazing up at me. This is an invalid pronunciation, but I do not correct her. She is small and stupid, like all human infants. "And what's your name, hun?" John asks. "My name's R. River." This name seems familiar, but I do not know why. I disengage her grip on my legs, lift her up and run a scan of her facial and cranial characteristics. I scan the human throng around us. No match found. I hand the child to John and cross to the metal railing and scan the concourse below. Match found. In the upper right quadrant, a figure is outlined in red by my facial recognition software. A slim blonde woman in a yellow top. She is searching the local area with increasing frenzy. "John, I have found the mother, there, in the yellow top. John leans in close and whispers, "You're sure, Cam?" "Yes, 85% probability they share genetic chromosomes." "Okay. Hey, River, want to go find Mommy with me?" "Yes." John and River step onto the moving staircase and descend to the lower level. Morris and I stand at the railing and watch as he threads his way through the people. Mother spots daughter and they are reunited in a hug. Then the adult female hugs John and kisses him several times on the cheek. Beside me, Morris says, "All right, score." I discover I have suffered another software glitch. I have squeezed the railing too hard and left 2 hand-shaped indentations in the steel. This is the second malfunction in as many days. Strange. On both occasions, John was in close proximity to an attractive female. Obviously, this is just a coincidence, and I will find the real reason after a full and thorough defrag. John rejoins us. "Good catch," he tells me. "How did Cameron know that woman was the kid's mother?" Morris asks. He is suspicious. I might have to terminate him. I think she saw them together in the parking lot." John lies. "Right, Cam." I corroborate John's story. "This is called lying through your teeth. Though I do not see how you can lie through any other orifice." Morris seems happy with this answer and drops the subject. I cancel his termination order. The Burger King. The Burger King is not a person, royal or otherwise. Instead, it is a fast food franchise situated on the South Concourse. This is called getting your wires crossed, although I am entirely solid-state circuitry. I sit at an empty table while John orders the food and Morris checks out the jukebox. John brings the food to the table and tells me, "Don't worry, I'll make up some excuse why you can't eat it." I say, "Why can't I eat it?" I unwrap a burger and take a bite. I masticate and swallow. "Oh, okay." John sits opposite me and asks, "Where does it go? I know you don't have a stomach." I explain I have a drum situated in my sternum that collects anything I ingest. It spins around at high RPM using centrifugal force to separate the component atoms. These are then sent to the appropriate orifice for evacuation. John says, "You can control the evacuations. They're not involuntary." I am fully house-trained. I take another bite of the burger, masticate and swallow. My mouth tastes of dead cow. Welcome to the great American diet. Morris returns and says, "The jukebox didn't have white noise, or Lou Reed, or anything much after 1986. Not even Beck, which is totally twisted. The selections really suck. So I picked Van Morrison for you, Cameron, because, you have brown eyes." I listen. The song is about a brown-eyed girl. My eyes are indeed brown, but is simple enough for me to change the pigmentation of the pseudo-iris to whatever shade I wish. I do not mention this to Morris. This is called holding your tongue. You do not physically hold your tongue. I won't make that mistake twice. During the feasting ritual, I notice a large man outside examining the menus stuck to the glass. He is the largest human I have ever seen, more akin to the weight of a small pachyderm. Morris notices him also and nudges John. "Check it out. This guy's gonna get wedged for sure." I conduct a body mass scan and compare it to the dimensions of the door. A graphic overlay program suggests Morris is incorrect. The large man will be able to negotiate the doorway with a clearance tolerance of 0.57694 inches. The large human approaches the door, hesitates, then squeezes through. A clearance tolerance of 0.56694 inches. My calculations are inches out. As Derek Reese would say, close but no cigar. The large man finds a table and prepares to sit down. I estimate his mass will exceed the structural tolerance of the chair by 2.5775%. Close, but definitely, a South American tobacco product. He lowers himself down, huge buttocks engulfing the small vinyl seat. As I predicted, the chair fails and he falls sprawling to the floor. Then something I did not predict happens. Morris starts laughing. Even John is smiling, though trying not to. Confused, I ask, I do not understand. Why are you laughing? Morris says, we're not being cruel, Cam. A big guy falling on his butt is always funny. Always, suppose he harms himself. Even funnier. I point out the man's excess poundage places great strain on his heart and internal organs likely to curtail his longevity. Aw, Cam, you suck the fun out of it. I say, I did not mean to be a fun sucker. The staff help the man to his feet and provide him with a sturdier chair. 2, in fact, 1 for each buttock. They bring him his meal and offer him as many extra fries as he wishes. Is this appropriate? No one minds, not least the large man, who is now using both hands to ingest his extra fires. Truly, I have much still to learn about humans. Less of a diary pastiche this time. The calories consumed. 0 gag got old real fast. Won't update this again until the new season airs. Thanks for the positive reviews emails. It's ironic that something I came up with during a lull in the cricket should generate more traffic than stuff I sweat bullets writing. Lol.